Hey friends, I'm Stacey and this is Gorgeously Aging, and today I picked up a few new things that I haven't tried at Target. So I wanted to try them for the first time with you and just see how they perform on my mature skin. I have not yet tried the Revlon Illuminance products, so I did pick up the Serum Tint, and this one is the Gel Serum Blush. So I want to try those. And I haven't tried the La Roche-Posay 50 SPF. This is the Broad Spectrum Athelios Mineral Sunscreen. I think a while back I used this in the tinted, but I wanted to give this non-tinted version a try. So I'm going to start out with my sunscreen. Let me just get into this package here. I've always liked La Roche-Posay. I think they do a really nice job on their skincare products as well. And I tend to prefer a mineral sunscreen to a chemical sunscreen. So when I have a choice, I usually choose a mineral sunscreen. I'm just going to shake this up a little bit. And it's nice and fluid. It is white, so let's see how this rubs in, if it leaves any white cast. Now you want a pretty liberal amount of sunscreen to really give you the protection you need. And never depend on just your makeup or sunscreen, especially if you're concerned about hyperpigmentation and sun damage and premature aging. You want to have that layer of sun protection, true sunscreen, under your makeup. Any SPF in your makeup products is just an additional bonus. So this does rub in beautifully. It's so light and fluid. I love that. And you know, I love a tinted sunscreen as well, and they're wonderful if you don't want to wear makeup over the top, but I've lately been playing around more with non-tinted sunscreens, so the jury is still out. I have to tell you guys a funny story. Adam clicked on one of my videos last night and it said, I introduced myself and it said I'm a 53-year-old master medical esthetician, and Adam looked at me and he's like, "You're not 53." And I looked at him and I'm like, "Yes, I am." And we got in this debate. He's like, "Honey, you were born in 1971. It is now 2024. You're going to be 53 on December 1st. I legitimately have thought I was 53 since my last birthday. I think this is when you know you're getting older, when you truly lose track of how old you are. Oh my gosh. So I guess I'm 52 and I'll be 53 in December. We had a little argument about it. I'm like, "What are you talking about?" "Yes, I am 53. So funny. So for those of you brand new, I am a 52-year-old medical and master esthetician. I love all things skincare, beauty, advanced facial rejuvenation, and aging beautifully from the inside out. Okay, so this is a nice sunscreen. I really like that it doesn't feel oily after you put it on. It absorbs in really quickly. It has almost a nice satiny feel, so I think it's going to wear well under makeup. For those of you who use a sunscreen that's maybe a little heavier and takes a little bit of time to sink into the skin, definitely allow it that time. Your makeup will look so much nicer if you give it a few minutes to sink in. One thing I like to do after moisturizing and putting sunscreen on my skin is moisturize my body or put some kind of a foot rub on or do some other things to give the moisturizer and sunscreen in my skincare routine time to sink into the skin before makeup. All right, so let's get into this Revlon Serum Tint. I had a hard time picking a color, you guys, but I ended up going with the 213, and this is called the Light Natural. I'm not sure if this is going to work. We'll see. It's always hard to tell through the tube. Okay, let's see if there's a little foil. There's a little foil seal on here, but let me show you guys this color and we'll see if it blends in with my skin. All right, so here it is. I think this should work. I'm just going to give it a little bit more on the back of my hand. I love a tint on mature skin. I think a skin tint that isn't too matte, isn't too shiny, and isn't too heavy works beautifully on mature skin. Yeah, I think this is going to work. This also has a little bit of SPF. I think it's 15. Let me double check. Yes, an additional SPF 15. So again, I wouldn't use that as your primary sunscreen, but it just tops it off a little bit. I'm just going to dab this all over and then we'll go with a brush and blend it in. This is an IT Cosmetics brush. I go back and forth between using my fingers, using brushes, and also using sponges. With the lighter coverage, I like to use a brush or my fingers, and with a heavier coverage, I like a damper sponge just to sheer it out a bit. First impression, I like how this feels. I like the color a lot. I actually sometimes have trouble with the undertones of some skin tints and foundations, and this one seems to work quite well. I already did my eyebrows, so I got that out of the way. So I'm just going to run this down my neck and into my hairline a bit and dab it under my eyes, just kind of so it's not caking under there. And then I'm going to go in with the Color Science Total Eye. This isn't something I picked up at Target. This one, you guys, I'll list everything in the description box below with the links. This is fantastic. I actually really like hydrating color corrector better than concealers a lot of the time, especially if you want a very light natural look, but this corrects the under eye beautifully and has some additional SPF for under the eyes. There is a movement now that's ditched the concealer. A lot of people are moving towards the color correctors. This one really is such a unique product because it's a color corrector, it's a skincare product, and it has SPF. It's beautiful under the eyes. And of course you can use your fingers, you can use a brush, or go at it with a sponge, which blends it out really nicely. I don't think any one of those is a better option. I think it's just whatever works best for you. I do like the warmth of my fingers, and of course this does have the applicator part of it, so you can apply it with that. It's nice and cool and it feels nice, but I tend to not do that. I tend to use my fingers more of the time, and I like a patting motion more than a sweeping motion, not to disturb the under eye or the tint, the skin tint that we put down, and also not to pull on that delicate under eye skin. I'm just going to take a little sponge here, and you don't want excessive amounts of product under the eye, otherwise it does crease and it shows. So you just want a nice sheer layer that's gonna brighten up those under eyes. Okay, my skin is looking kind of flat and I need a little bit of warmth and contour, so I'm gonna go in with this super affordable. This is brand new. This is the Contour Stick by Wet n Wild. This is an old favorite of mine and it's so affordable. You can go right to the skin, or you can put this on a brush and blend it. It's a very creamy formula, so it blends nicely. And I'm gonna just run this down the nose. It makes really quick work of doing contour. And the price point is awesome, so that's a plus. So I like to just pat in or pounce in just a little stippling motion, the contour. When I get to the hairline, I do pull it back a little bit like this, but this blends in so nice. It's not a dry formula at all, so that makes blending a breeze. This is one of the contour or bronzing sticks that I think really compares to some of the nicer high-end formulas. And I'm just going to run this down here, disguise any double chin, and bring this here by the side of my face back. Just brings life to the face and gives it more of a contour. I love a jaw contour. If I had to pick only like one spot on my face to contour, I mean the cheeks, that's hard to not contour. I think that's important, but aside from that, it would be my jawline. So you guys, I didn't know how I was going to feel about having an office space. I thought it was going to be kind of tough to transition and have to leave home to work, but I'm actually finding I really like it. When I'm at home, there's a lot of family distractions and the dogs bark and, you know, stuff happens that I have to break away from work to attend to, and I feel like when I come to the studio to film and do work and do stuff on the computer, it just feels like I can actually get stuff done without being interrupted. And I'm not too far from home. It takes me about 8 minutes to get to work, so that's nice. So I think there's pros and cons to it. I always feel like when I work away from home now, when I get home, I can truly relax. Now, I'll be filming some stuff at home in my bathroom and doing some shorts from home, but for the most part, I plan to work mostly from the studio space. I'm going to take that contour stick and just a fluffy brush like this and go into it like this here. This makes for a really quick and easy eye contour. Especially if you're not comfortable with eyeshadow or you just like a more natural look, this is a great way to just give a little lift and contour to the eye, especially a hooded eye. I just go above the hooded lid part, and I like to just kind of pull it upwards. All right, I love this so much, you guys. I haven't used it in such a long time, and it's so good. Same thing with the Color Science Total Eye. If you haven't ever tried this, I think you'll be so surprised at how good it is. It's really worth the splurge. It's a bit expensive, but it's kind of like your skincare, color corrector, under eye SPF, all in one. So far I've liked everything I've tried. I think this Revlon Illuminance Serum Tint would be really hard to find fault in. It's cost effective, it is nice on the skin, it isn't too heavy, especially for mature skin. I think this is a really good pick for the drugstore. All right, let's break into the blush. So this one I got in the shade 110 Enchanting Mauve. Just going to put a tiny bit on the back of my hand. For cream blushes, I do like to pounce a sponge in it, just on this back round end, and then go to the cheek. So this isn't overly pigmented, which is why I only took a small dab. I probably could do a little bit more. I always think of Rare Beauty when I do cream blushes because that one is so intensely pigmented. If you get too much, it's just a hot mess. This is really sheer, which I think is pretty. Sometimes these sheer formulas don't have the lasting power, but I think I'd rather have a little bit sheerer blush and have it be softer than have something with lasting power and have it be a little too intense. I think it's pretty. It has just the slightest bit of glow as well. Okay, I'm going to dip into this Revlon Photo Ready Translucent Powder. It does come with a little brush, which I never use, but I'm going to do ever so slight bit of setting. I still like my complexion to look fresh and natural, but I do like to set the T-zone especially. A little bit down here, and then I take what's left up in here. So I'm trying to keep this kind of more like a no makeup look or a light makeup look, but I do want to reinforce the bronzer and the blush with a powder, which I often will do just to make sure it has longevity, just to amp it up a little bit. So for that, I'm going to use this Charlotte Tilbury Instant Look in a palette. This is the Stoned Rose Beauty. I'm hoping they still have this available. I've had this one for a while. It's so nice because you have an eye look and you have your cheeks and a highlighter and a bronzer all in one palette. So I'm just going to go ahead into the bronzer. I'm kind of questioning, I don't know what you guys think, if I could have gotten a little bit deeper color of this. I like it. I'd rather have it be a little too light and then add more bronzer than have it be too dark. I definitely like the formula and the way it blends into the skin. The skin still looks like skin. I'm going to go into this cheek color here. Just kind of go over that. You certainly don't have to. It's kind of just my habit. I like to reinforce the cream, bronzer, and blush with a little bit of powder. I'm going to go into this for the eye, to the inner part, just to brighten right in here. And then this color, number 2, just in the center. I have lashes on, you guys. I always wear lashes, or pretty much always. This is the Gorgeously You Luxe Lash brand, which is my brand. I will list that down below. If you are a lash wearer, you might want to try them. They're super affordable. Really nice lashes for DIY lash extensions. I'm going to use a small Sonia Kashuk brush and go into these 2 colors and just give a little bit of definition under the lower lash line. I'm going to start with that number 2 first. I'm going to keep it soft. I might just stay within number 2. This just gives that little bit of definition under the eye without being like a full-on eyeliner. I'll go in with just a touch of the number 3, just in the corner. And then I'm going to bring it up just to create a bit more definition right here in the corner. A little outer V action here. And then I'll blend that out with a bigger brush. So we're going to bring it up from the lower lash line up here and then over, creating that little V shape. Bring that in a little bit. And then I'm going to take a bigger brush and just with round circular motions or flicking into the inside here, just going to blend that. Another drugstore product that competes with high-end is the e.l.f. Lash Extender Mascara. It is so good. And even though I have DIY lash extensions on, I'm just going to hit the lashes just a little bit on the tips to coat them in case any powder is on the edges. Because if you have powder or eyeshadow on the tips of your lash extensions, in natural light you can kind of see that. And then I'm going to do my bottom lashes just a tiny bit. I use a little magnifying mirror here. You'd think after 52 years I'd figure out how to put on my mascara without making that crazy like face, but I still can't do it. It's just like no matter how hard I try, I make a crazy mascara face. I mean, look at this brush. I might have a hair on it, but it is like perfection, especially when I don't wear lashes and I want to make my little lash nubs look longer. This does the trick. It's so good. I can't find any fault in this. If there's any fault, like I always look for waterproof versions, but I haven't noticed any smudging with this or flaking, so it's really good. All right, you guys, here's the look. I actually really like this. I think I'm going to get a lot of use out of this summer, and I think it'll be great all year round. It absolutely is not accentuating any texture or dryness on my skin, and it's not overly hydrating where you feel like it sits kind of damp on the skin for a long time, if you know what I mean. The blush is pretty. If you like a super highly pigmented blush, you might not like this, but if you like a watercolor blush that goes on easy, that blends easy, this is beautiful. And if you guys haven't tried the Color Science Total Eye, definitely try it. I mean, since this has come out, I'm not kidding, I probably had 20 of them. And my daughters, even my younger daughters who are 18 and 21, want to steal this from me all the time. It absolutely does not cake or crease or look heavily made up under the eyes. So if you're someone who doesn't wear makeup, but you need a little under eye brightening, this is beautiful because it really acts more like skincare with that slight color correcting pigmentation and extra sunscreen. If you're on a budget and you need a bronzer, check out the Wet n Wild. It's super affordable and it is really as good as many of the high-end products. And in some cases, it's even better. I actually prefer it over a drier textured stick. This one just blends in better without disturbing the makeup underneath. This is an A+ for me, you guys. This blends in beautifully, dries down quickly enough, but still feels hydrating on the skin without a greasy feel. Looks nice under makeup and gives you SPF 50. So as an esthetician, that's something we want, SPF 30 or greater, and that definitely meets that standard. And I like this powder. I mean, it's not anything like exceptional, but I do like these whitish translucent powders as opposed to powders with a lot of pigment. I feel like you can set down your makeup without it looking heavy, and a little bit goes a long way. So I'm going to put just a little something on my lips here. This is the Hourglass. Can't remember what this is called. I should remember it. I'll list it down below. It's just a little gloss. I like to dab it because it's very soft, so I don't want to get too much. This is so nourishing on mature lips, and it looks pretty with a little pigmentation and a lot of hydration. And then I'm just going to make sure everything's blended. You guys, this is my natural hair length, and I'm trying to get it down to where it used to be for those of you who've been with me for a while. So in my video a few days ago, I wore some Irresistible Me extensions, which I love playing with, but I do try to not wear extensions too often. I like to wear my natural hair, and also if you wear extensions too often, it can kind of cause some breakage in the hair. So I wear them a couple times a week or when we're going out, something like that. But yeah, this is my natural hair and the color that I do myself at home. If you guys want more hairstyling tutorials, please let me know. And here we are, a really soft, easy, kind of no makeup look that can be done in just a few minutes to wear every day just to improve the contour, give the eyelids a tiny bit of lift, and it has a very fresh skin-like finish. If you've tried any of these products I've shown you today, let me know in the comment section below. I'd love to hear from you. Let me know your thoughts. That's always helpful to other people as well. Thank you so much for sharing a part of your day with me. I will see you guys in my next video. Be good to yourselves and to others. See you next time.